Hi guys, so I can't believe I'm saying this, but my book, The Girl Behind the Glass, is out a week today. Um, I can't wait. I scheduled the paperback for release last night and the hardback. I didn't even know that was a thing you could really actually properly do until last night. So I found it, I scheduled it, I sorted it out. I've got my proof copy, which I keep looking at. I've got it on my bookshelves over there so that when I feel like it, I can just have a little look and just sort of remind myself what's actually happening. I've been buzzing this entire the last few weeks because of it. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm so excited. So it's like my stepson's birthday today. So I think we're gonna have some chill out times and maybe get takeaway tonight. We usually get takeaway pizza when there's a birthday. Um, so, but yeah, so next week, Saturday, 14th, October 14th. So if you like books that have witchy things going on, mages, lots of ghostly elements to it, stepsisters. So like there's Princess Frost is the Snow White character, and because it's a retelling of Snow White, and she has a stepsister. So it's like the stepsister kind of been living in this tiny little city called Cranwick, and she's like stuck there. She's been stuck there her entire life with her best friend as her cousin. Her dad is the mayor of the city, so he rules all of it. He controls everything, but he's also controlled by the witches. So the witches rule everything, and because there was a witch was killed by a previous mayor about 200 years ago. Um, they ever since they have just been trapped, and they can't leave Cranwick. If they try to leave, like there's no exits or entrances, and the only way out or in are through the mirrors in the city. So like any mirror that you can sort of like stumble across. But the annoying thing about the mirrors, what Winnie finds out is that they are controlled by the witches. So if you do try to like step through them or use them as their portals that they are, then you'll find yourself trapped with the witches. So Winnie hears of in the beginning of the story. She unfortunately, like the first line is I never meant to kill the witch. So she that's not exactly a spoiler, like it does happen straight away. She accidentally kills one of their witches. And it, like I said, it is an accident. She gets into a bit of an argument with one of them by mistake, while trying to follow her mum around, because her mum has been sneaking out and doing very suspicious things. So she's following her. She's at Pride Festival with her best friend Barchester, who's actually her cousin, who lives next door, and he's like the big part of the family, but they're like best friends, you know. So she follows the mum through the mirror when the mum actually goes. But at the very, very start, it's where she's at Pride Festival. She's following her mum and trying to work out like what her mum is doing. Um, she accidentally kills the witch while in a bit of an altercation with her. She's the witch that's been talking to her mum through the mirror. So that's all the start of it. So she ends up kind of having to. She watches like a chat between her parents about that her mum is gonna have to go and she's gonna have to marry this Winter King. So you have the four kingdoms on the other side of Cranwick. So Cranwick is like this tiny little. It's called the Mirror Village, but it's a city. It's like it's just the name that it had when it was first created, and it's kind of like a nickname because it's actually a city now. It's grown a lot more. Um, so it's kind of between the four kingdoms. So you have the seasonal kingdoms, so like spring, summer, autumn, winter, and Icefall is the winter kingdom, which is where the Snow White character lives. And so around the same time, you have both Winnie, who's the daughter, and Princess Frost, who's the Snow White character. They're stepsisters, and they're on the other side of the glass. If you see where the title is, and they're trying to like, well, and Winnie ends up following her mum on the way. She ends up at the wedding. She's not supposed to be at the wedding to the new stepfather, so the new Winter King. And this is all because Winnie's mother gave her heart away to the witches as like a sacrifice, because the only way you can get out of Cranbrook is by giving something to the witches. As part, if you end up in their portals, so you don't always get trapped, but you'll have to give something to them if you want to leave, something that's worth their while. So they are hoping to save Icefall, because it's by giving them pretend riches. And I don't want to say too much, but that's like how the story opens up, if you know what I mean. So at the same time you have Winnie's opening, so how she ends up in Icefall and kind of is trapped, and then you have the Snow White character on the other side, and she's also suspicious about her new stepmother, which is Winnie's mother. So she has been courting the father, so coming every evening and spending time with him and strengthening their courtship. I think it was one of the lines I used. So that's kind of how it goes, and then obviously they end up together, and then unfortunately the wedding night, as you know from the story, is where things all go wrong when then she becomes the new Winter Queen, and things start to go downhill for both of Winnie and Princess Frost. So that is like how the story opens up, and I'm not going to say any more because then there would be spoilers and I might ruin it. But yeah, so the book is out next week. It's been available for pre-order for a couple of months now, but I scheduled the paperback, and the hardback is just processing, but will probably be scheduled soon as well. It just says scheduled for review. I didn't even know. I think this is a new thing they're beta testing, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes, but I'm really, really excited about it. I don't know what I'm going to do on my release day, because when I did Steel Princess, which is over there somewhere on the shelf, as you can see, last year I went to Willen, which was a nice place that I like to write, and I sat in the cafe and I just did some writing there. So I don't know what I want to do with my release day for The Girl Behind the Glass, which is Saturday next week. So I'll think of something. I might end up trying to get my sister to hang out with me or something. I might go back to Willen, or I might try somewhere else, because I do spend a lot of time at Willen because my gym is there now, and I've gone to that cafe quite a lot of times now, so I might try and find somewhere else to go or something to do, but without spending too much money is the plan. But thanks guys for my little chat, and I hope if you do read this, you enjoy it. And please give me a review if you do read it. And of course, you've also got Steel Princess still available, which is also on Kindle Unlimited and on Amazon in general. And that one is a slightly futuristic fantasy with an evil robot queen. So very much inspired by fairy tales, but not quite fairy tales. But this is the first book in a series of retellings in the same world. So so there will be lots of other retellings, lots of other characters. There's some characters that have been brought into this that you'll start to probably realise like who they are by what their family is like. So like there's a few characters that are introduced at the ball from the other kingdoms, and they are obviously going to have their own stories. So if you can work that out, then that might be a cool thing, and then you can see if you are proved right when those stories later come out. But this is just the first. This is also the first book in a duology, and then I'll have lots of other like linked stories set in the same world with characters all sort of like intertwining into different parts of the world and different. That's the plan anyway. I have Sleeping Beauty drafted, like an early draft that I wrote a few years ago, so I'm going to rewrite that because that had a very similar world building as well. I have Cinderella, sort of ideas for it. I have Beauty and the Beast, also ideas for it. I have Rapunzel, also a few ideas. I was thinking The Little Mermaid and Mulan and Hansel and Gretel and all that sort of stuff, but the more I write these books in these series, I think the more ideas will come to me, so the easier it will be to start writing more books. But yeah, so I'll keep you guys posted as always, and thank you for listening and watching my video, and yeah, please go and check this out. And as I said, if you do, please leave a review, because it is much appreciated. I think if you leave 50 reviews on Amazon or something, it gets boosted, so that would be good. And I'm still waiting. I'm still trying to boost my Still Princess, so if you want to do that as well, that would also be awesome. But yeah, thank you guys for listening as always, and I'll talk to you later.
What if Snow White had a stepsister? Now you can find out the answer to that question with new book releasing today, The Girl Behind the Glass by April Grace. The Girl Behind the Glass follows Winnie, whose mother has married the Ice King. However, her mother, the new Ice Queen, has been up to some shenanigans. Now it's up to Winnie and her new stepsister, the Ice Princess, to bring her mother to a stop in a world of mirror portals and witches. This is April Grace's second book. Her first book, Steel Princess, follows an android who's now navigating a world of, rebels and family secrets. Go give April Grace the book birthday she deserves. Check out The Girl Behind the Glass or Steel Princess for fun indie fantasy adventures. Congrats, April!
Hi guys, so my second book is out this weekend. It's a dark retelling of Snow White. It has witches, mages, lots of ghostly, spooky elements, spooky castles, spooky forests. I had so much fun writing this book. I've had the best time with it. And I can't believe that it's actually coming around and it's actually coming out this weekend. It's on Saturday, this Saturday, October 14th. It is available for pre-order if you want to have a look. And yeah, it's out Saturday, so please go check it out, especially if you enjoyed my first book, Still Princess. Still Princess is not a retelling of any kind, but it is definitely inspired by lots of different fairy tales, just with a slightly futuristic twist. But this is my second release. I'm so excited. Honestly, I've been thinking about it for months now. I can't believe it. I've got 8 lovely reviews, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Thank you guys. Hi guys, so today I can finally say that today, October 14th, is my release day for this book, The Girl Behind the Glass, a dark retelling of Snow White. It is the first series in a big world, a seasonal world, 4 seasonal kingdoms and a little city that is guarded by mirrors, and the mirrors are guarded by witches. So to get out of Cranwick, you have to make sacrifices to the witches, and this obviously has an effect on the first main character, Winnie, who wants to follow her mother to the Winter Kingdom. When she hears her talking to the witches about her plans to marry the Winter King, to save Winnie's father from a sickness that he has. So she's able to find an antidote, but she had to, in order to get the antidote to save her husband, she had to go to the witches, and that is why she's made this deal. But it does mean that she's going to have to leave her family, so a big sacrifice really. And Winnie has just uncovered what's been happening, and around the same time, Princess Frost, who is my Snow White character, also has kind of discovered what's been going on with her new stepmother. So in the story you have 2 stepsisters, Winnie and Princess Frost, that are kind of like literally mirrored from each other, like hence the title. And there's lots of other characters that can also technically be called The Girl Behind the Glass as well, so it is a big play on words. This is my second book, my second release. So my first book, Steel Princess, is very futuristic, inspired by fairy tales, and people have been asking me, oh, it's your second book, is that your sequel to the one that you wrote before? And I said, no, it's not. I wanted to do something completely different. I had this one drafted around the time that I was publishing Steel Princess, and I thought I'd love to go back into, like, I do want to write the series, and I am about halfway through the sequel of Still Princess, but I didn't want to just go straight into the series and let that be all I'm writing and publishing at once for the moment, if that makes sense. I wanted to just kind of go into it and publish something else, work on something else, because then I have 2 separate series that I can kind of play off. So I can, like, I have big other book plans for both of the series, and I can kind of decide between which ones. But the sequel to Still Princess is called Songbird Air, and that is one that is coming next. But I do also have plot plans for the sequel for this one, Girl Behind the Glass. So the sequel for this one is going to be called The Girl on the Glass Throne, and it's going to have a different villain. I won't give too much away. I have planned out the first like 25% of the book, and I have plans for the rest of it, but a lot of my planning kind of comes with the developing of like the beginning of the book and then drafting and so on. So like I love to do a lot more of my revisions in my actual rewrites, like once the first draft has been written, and it all changes massively. But yeah, so this book is out today if you're interested. It's definitely a YA fantasy, but it does get quite dark. There are ghostly moments in the castle and in the winter forest. Lots of witchy things going on. Lots of secrets being uncovered. There's unfortunately there is a betrayal. The two stepsisters kind of find new friendships with each other, of course, and in their fight against the evil queen, but also with some of the witches that kind of come to support them. So this is a world where Winnie has basically been told that witches are the enemy, because they are the ones that are controlling the world she's been living in. But with the Winter Kingdom and the other kingdoms, witches kind of go hand in hand. They kind of stay to themselves a lot of the time, but they are a big part of the worlds of the kingdoms, and they do kind of connect with them. And they're quite closely connected with Icefall, which is the Winter Kingdom, because Icefall has done things for them in the past, and they feel like, but they have different relationships with each of the kingdoms, I would say. And I'm going to be exploring more of that in the rest of my series. So some of the characters, the princess characters and the royals that will come into this book from the other kingdoms are going to have their own stories. So there'll be Snow White, this is obviously Snow White, and there will be Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, Rapunzel, Little Mermaid. Those are the ones I've kind of got planned in at the moment. Oh, and Cinderella. They're the ones that are kind of in my head right now that I think I could draft from what I've got already, and from the world that I've got, and the plans for the plot. But obviously that will also come when I'm going to develop those specific books, so we'll see. And a lot of it will come from after drafting the sequel to this one, so which will be next. So I'm kind of thinking Steel Princess, then Songbird Air, which is a sequel to that one, is coming next, and then The Girl on the Glass Throne, and I'll be writing Tinker Prince, which is also the sequel to Songbird Air, so book 3 in the other series. So I've got plans for all of them, so basically I'm just going to try and play off and write them all at the same time. But this is my release weekend. I'm going to try and do little vloggy things if I can. I didn't really do any vlogging yesterday, so yesterday was Friday, and I had a really cool thing happen. I went to an event with MK Lit Fest, which I've recently started volunteering with. It's basically like the literary festival in my city. So I have been doing some stuff with them. I've done a couple of events with them, and yesterday was an event in Waterstones with 2 authors called Alex Hay and Freya Berry, who are both historical fiction authors, if you want to look them up on their Instagrams and things, because they've got some really, really good books. Hadn't actually read them, but I've obviously hearing about the talks, hearing them talking about everything yesterday was really, really good insight into how they write and what they've written. And even though I'm not really a historical fiction reader, they did intrigue me and make me want to have a look. And the covers are absolutely beautiful as well, so definitely go check them out. And the authors were themselves, of course, lovely as well, which is always helpful. But yeah, so that, and then last night I went to see a horror film with my sister. Because it was Friday 13th, they had the old film Friday the 13th for like a cheap night at the cinema, and I think they've got a few other films going on as well, like that they're bringing back for £5, so you just go and see them like late at night, which is quite cool. So yeah, it was a pretty good film. It's like an 80s film. I was feeling falling asleep a tiny bit, not from the film though, because probably just because of the fact that I get up so early because I work in a school. So I was absolutely shattered, as my sister, because she's also a TA. And yeah, so, and then today I'm gonna go with and hang out with my best friend for a little bit, because I haven't seen her for a couple of months since her wedding, like since she got married. a couple of months ago. So I'm gonna go hang out with her, have a coffee date with her and her little babies, and then come back, probably do some freelance work, do some writing, keep checking my sales for the day, as I did last time with Still Princess. It's so strange to think that I'm actually an author of 2 books now, and this one is finally like out there and available and on Kindle Unlimited, and people can actually read it. And it's a it gives me a shudder, but I'm also excited at the same time. So let's hope it goes well. Hi guys, so I look different to how I did in my last video. So basically, last week I never actually got round to filming like the final bit of the video for my book release weekend, and I never uploaded anything. I kept meaning to, and I just never did. I was just kind of like enjoying the time that I had to celebrate it and spend time with friends and family. So you've seen in previous clips that I went out on the Friday night, did like a helped at an event, did things, and then went to cinema with my sister to watch a horror movie at like 10:30 at night. And then Saturday and Sunday were just kind of spent with my partner. And yeah, I just basically just had a really nice weekend, just like chilling out. I think I was on my own during the day, so I did a lot of like freelance work, basically my usual weekend stuff when it's just me and my partner's working. And yeah, I think on Saturday night we did like a little movie night. I set it up all nice, got loads of snacks for us and things, and then on the Sunday I think I just basically did the same thing, freelancing, a bit of writing, and yeah, just it was just a basically nice chill out weekend. A nice way of celebrating my book coming out. So yeah, I had a really nice time, and now I'm freelancing right now. And yesterday I dyed my hair, did the whole dip dye pink thing again, but not quite as bright as the previous ones that I've done. And it's half term, October half term, so I'm able to get a bit more extra time to catch up on my freelance work, which is nice, and hopefully do some more writing. So I'm writing the sequel to Still Princess, which is my first book at the moment. And then I also have plans for the sequel to The Girl Behind the Glass, which is one that just came out. So yeah, lots of things that I've been doing. I did actually end up plotting out the end of the sequel to Still Princess Songbird Air, because I'm about 50,000 words in maybe, but I have the rest of it planned out, so it'll probably be shorter than 100,000 when I actually do the first draft. And then I also plan to put in a lot more, description, and rewrite and rework a lot of the story and the scenes and things. So I have plans for those. But very, very big pirate themed adventure story again. So I love writing those. But yeah, hopefully it all goes well. And then I also kind of like have some plans for book 3 as well, because it is going to be a 4-book series. And the next book is going to be more mermaid themed. So this is sirens. The first book was sirens and pirates, and also androids and cyborgs. Book 2 is also sirens and androids and cyborgs. But yeah, so book 3 will be more mermaids and then androids. So basically, if you read Still Princess, you'll see that both of the books have like 2 major story adventure things going on in the same book. So Still Princess was the kind of like the pirate adventure on one side, and then the futuristic adventure into the futuristic city. Book 2 is another pirate adventure on one side, but written from a different narrator, a new narrator this time, who you may enjoy if you like the pirate scenes in Still Princess. And then you'll still get the kind of like futuristic a little bit, but it's also going to be going back into some old ruins of a different kingdom. And then book 3 will be mermaids, underwater kind of stuff on one side, and then probably futuristic stuff on the other side. It sounds a bit vague, but you'll probably get the idea of what I mean if you've read Still Princess, and then if people obviously come to read Songbird Air for me when I'm ready to get ARC readers out for that one. But yeah, so it's in the planning. I know what I'm doing with it. It just takes time to actually draft everything and get it all together. But thank you guys as always for supporting my books and my literary adventures, and I'll try to post a lot more on here as I can. I want to do more book reviews and things because I have read a lot more books this year than my previous goals. Like I think I completed my Goodreads challenge like a couple of months ago or something. A month ago maybe, I don't know, a while ago anyway, and I'm already like 3 or 4 books over what that Goodreads challenge amount was. So yeah, so, and I'm also still reading a lot, so we'll see how many books I actually finish this year. But I want to get some more book reviews out there. And yeah, thank you guys as always, and I'll talk to you another time.